Disclaimer 1. Do not harass anybody I bring up in this video. This video is for critique and entertainment purposes only, so please do not go and harass anybody I bring up in this video, whether you agree with them or don't. 2. Any of the footage that is featured in this video is for critical review and parody, which is under protection of fair use laws of the United States Copyright Act of 1976.
It's funny, like, you know, obviously, like, I'm obviously a fan of like different fandoms, and not all of them are for like adult men. Like, I love Sailor Moon, for example. I really adore Sailor Moon as a series. But like, you look at that fandom and you see like it's still going like decades later, and you're seeing creative works inspired by Sailor Moon. You're seeing mainstream, like, well, not mainstream, but indie animated projects that are heavily inspired by Sailor Moon and Magical Girls in general.
100%.
Yeah, and
Sailor Moon is inspired a lot.
Yeah, and it's interesting seeing that, how it's inspired the works. I don't know what My Little Pony's inspired. You know, like, I know the people who worked on it have worked on other projects, but I don't see that same through line. Like, oh, Steven Universe. Oh yeah, Steven Universe inspired this.
That comment from Anthony Gamalia on Lazy Bedhead's stream made me really want to take a look at this, because as someone who is returning to the Bronys scene, I mean, this year alone I convinced my partner to give the show a shot, and I've been seeing a lot of MLP content just in general on my For You page on Instagram and on YouTube. I wanted to explore this conversation just a little bit deeper. What has My Little Pony done for the community of both animation, film, or even content creators in general? This is a topic I feel like is most important because MLP really got its kickoff at the start of when YouTubers and internet personalities really began to shine. From simple reviews of the show, to music production, to just geeking out about the show with like fans and just other people alike, this show itself transcended like what kids media could be like, and it can actually be for everybody else. And I feel like this and Gravity Falls were like basically the cornerstones to kick off that animation is for everybody when we really take a deeper look. But unfortunately today, fans of the show are kind of nowhere to be seen, as many say Bronys are dead. But there's obviously still fans of the show out there. I mean, take a look at one Eternal Samurai. This guy got his start in MLP only a few years ago at the time of this video's upload, and was inspired by his friend to give the show a shot. And in my opinion, it kind of kickstarted my own return to the fandom because of his video alone, and how it connected with him on such a personal level.
The message from the show, Friendship is Magic, has really cured my depression that I've dealt with for the past few years. I was not in a very good place in my mind and in my life, and just seeing that whole message of how friendship is magic plays out has really helped me get out of some dark times in my life. And to be honest, it's just the healing message I've needed to hear for such a long time.
Samek is an amazing content creator. He may not post up super often, but he's definitely someone you guys should definitely check out, as he takes a look at these shows and tries to apply the life lessons to just that life. It's people like Samek that still has a place here on YouTube that still does pony content, but he doesn't necessarily fall into some of the same trappings that a lot of the other pony content creators fell in. And he just speaks from the heart with a lot of this content. He was able to just talk about the show that he likes, and he doesn't even monetize his content anymore. He just wants to talk about these shows just because he's just passionate about the series now. And for someone that got into the series in the 2020s and still has a connection to it, that must mean the show still has like relevance. Now, I would like to preface this part by saying that this next part is just my own personal beliefs and opinion and all that. I will still have to do some more research and digging to find any type of connection that MLP actually helped with these series, but I personally believe that without MLP and without Gravity Falls, we wouldn't have something like DuckTales 2017 or Star Voices, two shows that just blew up in popularity and had such giant fans. It wasn't to the degree of My Little Little Pony, but you can still feel like that flow of taking more risks with a lot of their kid-centric shows. And you can even argue that applies to stuff like the Owl House. MLP wasn't this big show just because like it took risks using a kid brand, but it was also just the community surrounding it, talking about the show, trying to spread kindness in this day and age, especially in the 2020s, where there's a lot more hate and a lot more bitterness and a lot of people being more cynical towards one another. To have a show remind, especially kids, that kindness can go just a long way is mind-blowing to me, that a lot of adults found this like appealing, because let's be real here, kindness never gets old. I will argue that this show always has a place just in general, because it's a reminder to everyone that friendship, it can go a long way, as well as just being kind to one another, the generosity, like literally all the type of elements of a harmony has some kind of place with one of us. And you can even take the conversation deeper if you have a conversation with a friend or a guardian about it. But then you have the people that will just take this just so that they can be popular, completely ignoring the messages of the show to younger kids and to the extent everybody else that watches the show. And that's when you get people like I Love Kim Possible a lot.
Which is a very long name, but I'm known as KP on online spaces. I mostly do Disney and cartoon and media analysis, but we aren't here for that today.
KP has been through a lot, to say the least, in these past 4 months and just 2025 alone. But even when you look at some of their actual content that they produce, it's not really good content. But she uses the My Little Pony like brand in order to get popular and to try to like sell herself. There's even one time where she even sold a body pillow of her own OC at a convention. Now, I know that most people actually ended up liking the show that also did it because it was also popular, but they actually found like a way to enjoy the show and like, you know, grow attached to it. While someone like KP was really using it because it was the hip new thing to go and watch, and it basically made her a bunch of money. Now, I can't back up any of this with a source or anything like that, but given how she acts in 2025, still thinking that this show is as strong as it was back in 2012 and 2013 is just kind of weird. And on top of that, the final nail in the coffin was an expose video on one of the biggest creators here on YouTube that failed so horribly that I don't even think she can necessarily like come back. She wants to make amends with everybody, but this is something you just don't come back from. This was something super serious that someone had to basically spend thousands of dollars to prove his own innocence because you decided to platform false allegations by this numbnut. And that's the thing, right? Well, you see two sides of the coin. You see someone like Samek who is basically nice and you're just normal and wants to talk about a show that generally saved his own mental health, while you have someone like KP who is losing their mental health because they just don't understand how to make content on YouTube, and on top of that, just using the IPs that she thinks is going to make her popular well after they're dead. I personally believe that My Little Pony will make some type of return in the future. I mean, there is the live action movie, which, no, that's not the right way to do things, but I want another show kind of like My Little Pony to really take off and change the way we see like the medium as a whole. A show that's for just not only younger audiences, but can be enjoyed by anyone from any age group. Now, before you guys correct me in the comments, I do know that Bluey is super big, and a lot of people love Bluey, and I personally think that that's this next generation's My Little Pony, where you see people actually wanting to talk about the show and how it can connect with them. It's kind of like VeggieTales, where it can get non-Christian viewers to still watch it, not only for the life lessons that it can bring with younger audiences and older audiences, but also just as a comedy fun show show that's entertaining to watch. That's why a lot of people enjoy kids media, is because they know how to write like not only funny jokes, but stories that can connect with people on many different levels. This was just something I wanted to gush about and talk about, because as someone who is getting back into My Little Pony, rewatching the show, seeing all the K-pop Demon Hunter like edits and like memes and everything that was surrounding both K-pop and My Little Pony, I kind of wanted to just sit and talk about it as someone who was a fan but wasn't like online as a fan, because I just didn't have the internet access when I was watching it. I just genuinely like this show, and now that more people are talking about it, for better or for worse, I just kind of want to put my 2 cents on it. But please let me know down below what you guys think about all of this. This was very like off script. I was just kind of just talking and to the camera and just kind of going from the heart a little bit. So thank you guys so very much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night or day, and as always, keep gaming.